Hi kids, I have invited Mr. Bill to join us for the next part of our lesson. So guys, I have a challenge for each one of you while you're sitting at home right now, okay? What I want you to do...
You're at home right now.
You have anything you want to say to the kids?
Hey guys, how's it going? Are you driving your parents nuts yet?
Well, Mr. Bill is driving me nuts, so yeah.
Short
so
drive.
It's understandable. But what I want you guys to do
Hey, I'm over here.
is take a
This is in
single,
my nose.
sheet of paper and a scissors. All right? I'm going to give these to Mr. Bill, and he's going to try this challenge too.
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do is take that single sheet of paper and and a scissors and cut the paper so that it can go around you. Okay? We want to be able to take this paper and put it around
scissors.
you.
No rock. This is rock, paper, scissors.
No rock, paper, scissors.
No rocks. I like rocks.
We've got plenty of rocks.
Oh, okay.
But that's not what we're doing this morning.
Got
Yeah.
my rock, got my paper, got my scissors.
Okay, well, he is going to try this, and I want you guys to be trying this too. So go ahead. I think it might take Mr. Bill a little while here to get this done.
The paper's got to go all the way.
All the way around you.
All the way.
All the way around
me.
you. Yes.
I can do this. You can do this.
You guys think he can do this? I'm not sure. Well, Mr. Bill, go ahead. We're going to give you a chance to do
All right,
this.
here's the super secret of cutting the paper so it goes completely around you. It's all in how you fold it. Okay? I've seen this on YouTube. All right. Now, I'm gonna like turn so like you can't see what I'm doing, so you can't cheat and copy me. Okay? So I want to see what you guys got when you're done. All right? You're going to see mine? All right, here we go.
All right, we're gonna make a cut. You gotta be careful because it's a lot of paper, and you can't be wasting it and going crazy with it because you gotta use the whole paper. And here we go. And we gotta make a turn here. It's all about the turn. You gotta have the right angles. You still with me? You still cutting? All right. All right. And here we go. And turn it again. And snippity snip. And then we turn it 90 degrees. 90 degrees. That's like that. All right. And
How long is this supposed to take, Pastor Laura?
Well, I think the kids are probably done already.
Are you guys done already?
I kind of feel like
No
they are.
way.
I feel like you're taking
No
a
way.
long
They're-
time.
No. I'm gonna nail this. When we get done, we're
I say, Mr. Bill nailed it. All right. And turn it again. And one more cut. Snip. All right. I'm gonna throw. I just had a little scrap there. Okay. It happens. Scraps happen.
Especially when you're cutting paper with Mr. Bill.
all right. Are you guys ready? Give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll.
Alright. And
Here it is.
Mr. Bill, how is that going to go around you?
This is me, and the paper goes around me.
No.
See? Me, paper around me.
Let me see, Mr. Bill. Oh, it didn't work.
What? What?
It didn't work. You didn't do it right. I know. Did you guys do it any better? Because Mr. Bill just did not do it right. It's
Hi, kids. Pastor Laura ruined my project. She's not very nice.
It seems like it's impossible, though, doesn't it? I mean, it does seem like an impossible thing to do, but you know
I
what?
thought
I had a great idea. It did not go around you. You said me, paper. You are not the paper. You would be much quieter if you were the paper. Yeah, you're not the paper. So
To show you, though, that this is not impossible. We are going to fold it in half, just like you did. You were very close.
I was right on.
She
kids.
was so
I
close.
was-
So now we're just going to cut a whole bunch.
Looks like a piano keyboard.
It kind of does. We're going to cut a whole bunch of cuts all the way down. Do not cut all the way to the end, though. Just cut like that.
It's in your face. We can't see you.
That's all right.
I can see her.
And then I want you to I want you to look at this. Do not cut these last two, okay? We're going to cut the center of all the rest of them. I'm just going to kind of cut them in half. You guys see that?
Can you see it?
And we're gonna cut.
Don't cut my head off.
Now, we have it cut like that. Now we're gonna go on the opposite side. And I am just gonna finish cutting these. And I wanna see if this can go all around Mr. Bill. And not this little paper guy that he's got hanging out here.
He's kind of got a watermelon head.
Yeah, it is pretty close.
Pretty close?
Yeah, pretty close, right, guys?
He's got more hair, I think.
All right. So I have this weird kind of looking thing here.
She's not talking about me, guys.
And we... Look at this. Mr. Bill, I want to see if this can go all the way. Step forward so they can see.
All the way around you. Hey, look. Look at me. I can even fit. I am a princess with a nice paper leg. I can even fit in it, guys. This, you know what? It seems impossible.
It seemed like it was impossible, but it's not. It's just about our perspective. Now, I knew something you didn't know. So
What?
It wasn't impossible for me. I knew the answer. Come on. And I had a good answer. Kids, was mine good? No. I show it to you, but Pastor Laura. Mr. Bill, guess what?
many things are just like this. God also, he knows the answers. So for him, things are not impossible. Things that are impossible for us are not impossible for God. I mean, think about it. Walking on water.
Can't do that.
Yeah, can't do that. How about creating the world just by speaking out loud? Can you do that? No, I didn't think so. Okay, so but God can. Ooh, how about raising the dead? No, that's just a piece of paper. He can't do that either. It's impossible. All these things are impossible for us. But guess what? Jesus did all these things.
Really?
But what's impossible for man is not impossible for God. Do you know why?
True.
Do you know why?
Why? Tell the kids why.
Okay.
We want to know why, Pastor Laura. Come on. I want to know why, too.
God's power is greater than anything. It's greater than anything. That's right. Kids, let's, I don't know.
Mr. Bill, are you going to hang on to this and keep this in your beautiful necklace that you made? We got made here? My little paper.
Bling, bling.
Okay, why don't you say goodbye to the
Little paper
kids,
Mr. Bill necklace will be on sale in the lobby for $9.99.
Okay, that's not true. But we will see you guys later.
Nobody's kidding.
Bye.
What's up? What's up?
Oh yeah, what's up everybody? It's me, the S-K-I to the double T-L-E-S. Skittles in the hizzy, and I'm ready to tell you what's up. Today, we're talking about the amazing power of God. So every time today that somebody asks you, what's up? You tell them. With God, nothing is impossible. God has done a lot of things that are impossible for man to do. Because you know, man can't turn water into wine. What you have here, ladies and gentlemen, is just a regular container of H2O. Poof. Oh man, it's a cat. Plus, Jesus walked on the water, raised the dead, and did so many things that to us seem impossible. So you gotta remember that even though it's impossible for man, nothing's impossible for God. So anytime somebody asks you, what's up? You tell them. With God, nothing is impossible. And that's what's up. I got a rainbow flavor, and I'm living for my Savior. Skittles out, baby, yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Ashton,
And my name is Xander.
and we're your hosts for this series called
Say what?
In this series, we're talking about the incredible statements that Jesus made while he was on earth. These statements made everyone around him say,
Say what?
Today we're talking about how Jesus said nothing is impossible.
Nothing?
That's right, Jesus, hold on. Hello? Are you serious? Okay, I'll be right there. Xander, I need you to take it from here. My grandma needs my help. The metal plate in her head keeps picking up satellite signals and she thinks she's on Wheel of Fortune. She keeps trying to buy a vowel.
For real?
I'll be right back. Just tell him about how Jesus said nothing is impossible.
Okay, well, I guess we're back here again. Jesus said nothing is impossible. So that means nothing is impossible. Now how can I apply that to everyday life? I got it! Come with me! So I was watching YouTube the other day and I saw a dude surfing behind a boat. It was pretty cool. I mean, he's doing some pretty amazing stuff on that water. But I thought, that's nothing. Anybody can surf on water. I'm gonna surf on cement. That's right. I'm gonna take this surfboard and I'm gonna let this car pull me down the street and I'm gonna surf on this cement like a boss. Alright, I'm ready to go. Now, I know what you're thinking. Xander, it's impossible to surf on concrete. Well, not according to Jesus. Jesus said nothing is impossible.
What in the world are you doing?
I'm teaching the kids about nothing is impossible. Duh.
Are you serious? This is not what Jesus was talking about.
It's not? He didn't want me to surf on concrete?
What? No. Jesus said with God nothing is impossible. He didn't want us to go out doing crazy things that could end up getting us killed. He wanted us to know that we can trust him and that he can do miracles.
Oh, like when someone is sick, we can believe God to heal them.
Exactly. And when it seems like we're going through impossible things in life, we can know that God is more powerful than anything. He can do the impossible.
Well, that makes a whole lot more sense than surfing behind a car.
You got that right.
Of course I did. I'm awesome like that.
Well, we better let you get to your lesson today. You're going to learn all about how Jesus did a miracle that seemed impossible, but he proved that with God, nothing is impossible.
Hey, you better hurry. It's time to go. Wait, driver, I wasn't talking about you.
I better go help him. Until next time, I'm Ashton.
And I'm Xander.
We'll see you next time on Say What? Xander?
Hi everyone, it's Miss Jenny. I miss worshiping with you all every Sunday morning, but here I'm at home too. I'm in my bedroom right now with my Bible. Hopefully you have your Bible too. And I am going to tell you our Bible story today. So we are going to go to the book of Mark, chapter 9. So you can always look this up later. It's in the New Testament, Mark chapter 9. And in this story today, Jesus is teaching to a large crowd. He did that a lot, didn't he? So let's listen and see what Jesus was telling about God's love. A man came out of the crowd and spoke to Jesus. Jesus, my son is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. The evil spirit will often throw my son to the ground, and then my son foams at the mouth. Jesus told the man, "Bring the boy to me." The father brought his son to Jesus. His son looked terrible because he had an evil spirit living inside of him. He had been this way for a long time. The father was desperate for his son to be healed. He said to Jesus, "Help him if you can." Jesus said, "If I can? Everything is possible for him who believes." Wow! Jesus was saying that for anyone who believes in the power of God, nothing is impossible. That's pretty amazing. Jesus immediately spoke to the evil spirit that was inside the boy. "Listen, you evil spirit. I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again." The crowd fell silent, waiting to see what would happen. The evil spirit fought, but he was no match for Jesus. The boy let out a scream as the evil spirit left his body. The boy laid on the ground, motionless. The crowd thought he was dead. But Jesus knew better. Jesus took the boy by the hand and helped him up off the ground. He gave the boy back to his father, who rejoiced that Jesus had healed his son. Jesus proved that nothing is impossible for God. In your lesson today, we're going to learn that even when things seem impossible with man, God is able to do so much more than we could ever imagine. His power is greater than anything. With man, it seems impossible. With God, nothing is impossible.
Wiggity, 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 yo! What's up? Yeah, all right. Hey there, boys and girls. My name's Squealy McGee. I am an auto mechanic down here at the Busted Knuckle Garage. You know, I love working on cars and trucks. You know why? Because I like using them power tools. Yeah, I sure do. Listen, speaking of power, the whole reason why I'm even here is to teach you the big old power verse. Today's power verse says, what is impossible for people is possible with God. Luke 18:27. Hot dog, that is an awesome power verse right there. You know what, I think I might need a little help today learning this power verse. So why don't we get the boys to stand on up with old Squealy and let's do it all together on the count of 3. All right, boys, here we go. 1, 2, 3. What is impossible for people is possible with God. Luke 18:27. Woo, hey boys, that was slicker than a greased pig. Y'all can sit on down now. Tell you what, I'm gonna get the girls to stand up and y'all are gonna help Squealy this time, okay? Girls, stand on up on the count of 3. We're gonna do it together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. What is impossible for people is possible with God. Luke 18:27. Ooh, that was great. Y'all sounded as country as cornflakes on that one. Y'all sit on down now, okay? You know, that power verse, it teaches us something very important. It teaches us that nothing is impossible for God. You know, I was arguing with my buddy Rusty the other day. He's the other mechanic that works here at the Busted Knuckle Garage. He said it was impossible for me to change 4 tires in less than 60 seconds. Now, I gotta admit, I was a little worried about it myself. So I got down on my knees and I prayed that God would help me to change those 4 tires in record time. And do you know what? I changed all 4 tires in 57 seconds. Woo, I was faster than a jackrabbit with a brass fiddle. Old Rusty, he suddenly believed that God was God and that he could do the impossible. And you know what's true? Ain't nothing impossible for God. Well, anyway, I tell you what would make me happier than a possum in a corn crib with the dog tied up is if you guys would stand all up, all of you boys and girls, and say the power verse with old Squealy McGee. All together now on the count of 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. What is impossible for people is possible with God. Luke 18:27. Great job, everybody. Y'all can sit on down. Now, listen, it's about time for me to get on to working on my next car, all right? So I'm going to have to let y'all go. I got to get back to my power tools. Woo, yeah. So until next time, this is Squealy McGee saying, later on. Woo!
Jesus and the widow's son, from Luke chapter 7, verses 11 to 17. The town was rising up slowly in the distance. Walking along the road, leading a large crowd, was Jesus. He was setting a steady pace as he made his way towards the town. The crowd, who included his disciples, had just seen Jesus show his power and his care by healing a servant girl with just a word. As they approached this new town, a town called Nain, They wondered whether Jesus would have another opportunity to show how powerful and caring he was. They wouldn't have to wait long. While Jesus' crowd was still some way off, there was an even bigger crowd coming slowly out of the city gates. As this crowd walked, you could hear the cries and screams of people in mourning. Leading this procession was a widow bent over with sorrow. She had tears streaming from her eyes, and she looked like someone who had lost all hope. Directly behind her were 4 men who marched slowly in unison. On their shoulders they carried a coffin, the coffin of this widow's only son. Her whole life seemed ruined and without hope. Slowly and steadily, the procession moved forward along the road that led out of the town. The cries of anguish continued to echo loudly in the air. It wasn't long before the crowd with Jesus saw the funeral procession. Quickly, the crowd coming towards the city moved off to the side of the road. They all had their heads bowed with respect as they saw the widow leading this procession for her dead son. Everyone stood off to the side except for one person. Jesus stayed standing on the road, directly in front of the widow. When he had seen this lady, his heart went out to her, and he felt such care and compassion towards her. He reached out his hand and said in a soft and gentle voice, "Don't cry." Don't cry? To say don't cry to a woman who had just lost her only son? How cruel these words could have sounded. But when Jesus spoke these words, he wasn't being cruel. Jesus could say them because Jesus is the one who has all power, and he cares for people. The men carrying the coffin stood still with shocked looks on their faces. What were they to do? They watched, growing more and more nervous as Jesus walked up past the widow towards the coffin. Slowly he raised his hand and he touched it. The mourners and the widow gasped in horror. For a stranger to touch a dead man's coffin, it was just wrong. Then Jesus spoke in a firm and steady voice. The words echoed around like thunder. "Get up," he commanded. Get up? To say get up to a dead person in front of their family and their friends, well, that's just cruel. And it's also stupid. Dead people can't get up, they're dead. But when Jesus said these words, they weren't stupid and they weren't cruel. Because Jesus is the one who has all power, and Jesus is the one who cares. The men carrying the coffin were horrified. How could this man say such a thing? They were thinking about putting the coffin down to push the man away when they felt the coffin move. And as they slowly lifted their eyes, the widow's son sat up and began talking to them. Gasps and screams and cheers rose from the crowd as they realized that this young man was no longer dead. He was alive! Jesus had shown his power by raising a dead person back to life. The crowds looked on as the coffin bearers quickly put the coffin down. They stood there in astonishment as Jesus reached out and gently took the boy by the hand. Slowly, Jesus helped the boy step over the coffin edge and onto solid ground. He then led the boy towards his mother. She put out her arms carefully, unsure whether all this was happening or whether it was just a wonderful, wonderful dream. As she touched her son with her own 2 hands, a sudden wave of happiness came over her. This man, Jesus, had cared for her so much that he had given back her son, her only son. Soon the sound of partying filled the air. People were shouting and clapping and jumping up and down. Cheers and praises filled the sky. As people considered what they had just seen, they were overwhelmed with joy. They had seen Jesus show in the most amazing and spectacular way that he cares for people who are hurting. But even more than that, they had seen that Jesus had power like no one else. He could even bring the dead back to life. And so they praised him loudly.
Wiggity, 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 yo! What's up?
God's power is greater than sickness. That is why it is not impossible for God to heal us when we are sick. God's power is greater than death. That is why it's not impossible for God to raise the dead. God's power is greater than depression and sadness. That's why it is possible for God to fill us with joy when we are sad. It doesn't matter what you face in life. God's power is greater than anything. Remember our Bible story today? Jesus healed the little boy from that evil spirit that was tormenting him. The father had come to Jesus and said, "If you can help my son." The father wasn't sure Jesus' power was strong enough. So he said, "If you can help." What did Jesus prove? He proved there are no ifs with Jesus.
Brain.
What is today's What's Up? 1, we can do anything. 2, with God, nothing is impossible. Or 3, God is powerful. The answer, with God, nothing is impossible. The father of the boy said to Jesus, "If you can help him, I know you can help him, or only you can help him." The answer is if you can help him. When the evil spirit left the boy, what did the crowd think had happened? 1, the boy fell asleep. 2, the boy had died. Or 3, the spirit was still there. The answer, the boy had died. That's what they thought. Was Jesus able to heal the boy? Yes or no? Yes, Jesus healed the boy. According to our lesson today, God's power is better than anything, greater than anything, or stronger than anything. The answer is greater. God's power is greater than anything. According to our lesson today, there are no ands with Jesus, howevers with Jesus, or ifs with Jesus. There are no ifs with Jesus. It's not if Jesus can do it. Jesus can do anything. Nothing is impossible with God. According to our lesson today, if you have blank in Jesus, nothing is impossible. If you have faith in Jesus, trust in Jesus, or interest in Jesus. The answer is faith. If you have faith in Jesus, nothing is impossible. Is there anything God can't do? Yes or no? No, there's nothing God cannot do. Where was our power verse found? Matthew 4:21, Leviticus 5:19, or Luke 18:27? That's right, Luke 18:27. Let's take a look at it now.
What is impossible for people is possible with God. Luke 18:27.
Kids, we're going to take a few minutes right now, and we're just going to pray. We want to pray for those who have been struggling with their faith, for those who have never fully put their trust in God. We want them to have a faith that they know without a shadow of a doubt that God can do anything. Dear God, Lord, right now, as all these kids are in their homes and they're with their families, Lord, I pray that we will be able to have such a faith in you, that our faith will go beyond all words. Lord, this week, I just pray that we're going to dive deeper. We're going to learn more about you. We're going to spend more time in your word. We're going to spend more time in prayer, learning about you, having faith in you. And Lord, help us to believe. Help us to know that you can do everything. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible. That we should continue praying for those things that we think are impossible. Lord, we just ask that you just help grow our faith and allow us to be able to know that we can depend on you for anything. Lord, I pray this in your name. And all his children say, Amen.